What if the dream you've spent years building is about to disappear forever? What if the restaurant that survived debt, chaos, panic attacks, family trauma, and impossible expectations is finally facing the one enemy it can't beat? And what if the person who fought hardest to save it has already walked away? That's exactly the feeling hidden inside the Bear Season 5 trailer, and if you look closely, this isn't just a trailer for another season. It's a trailer for the end, the final chapter, the last service. And by the time we're done breaking it down, you'll see why almost every shot in this trailer feels like a warning. Because Season 5 begins with a shocking reality. Carmy is gone, not dead, not missing, gone by choice. After everything he sacrificed to build the bear, he has stepped away from the restaurant business and left the future of the restaurant in the hands of Sydney, Richie, and Natalie. But here's the question the trailer immediately wants viewers to ask. Can the bear survive without Carmy? For years, Carmy has been the engine driving everything. The perfectionist, the visionary, the person willing to sacrifice happiness in pursuit of greatness. Now he's no longer in charge. And suddenly the restaurant feels vulnerable. The trailer constantly shows Sydney carrying enormous responsibility. The camera focuses on her more than almost anyone else. Why? Because this appears to be Sydney's season. For years, she stood beside Carmy. Now she must prove she can lead without him. But leadership comes with pressure, and pressure is something the bear has never been short of. Throughout the trailer, we see stressed faces, urgent conversations, people rushing through hallways, employees trying desperately to keep everything together. At first glance, it looks like normal restaurant chaos, but this feels different. This feels heavier, because this time, the future of the restaurant itself is at stake. Then the trailer introduces its biggest external threat. A storm, and not just a little rain. A massive storm that seems to hit Chicago with incredible force. Water begins flooding parts of the restaurant. Employees scramble to react. Equipment appears threatened. Operations become unstable. Everything starts falling apart. But here's where things get interesting. In The Bear, nothing is ever just about what happens on the surface. The flood feels symbolic. Think about it. For years, these characters have been drowning emotionally, drowning in grief, drowning in expectations, drowning in guilt, and now the restaurant itself is literally drowning. The trailer seems to suggest that the external disaster mirrors the internal struggles of the characters. And if that's true, then Season 5 may be less about saving a restaurant and more about saving themselves. But the flood isn't even the worst problem, because another shocking revelation appears. The money is running out. The bear is struggling financially. Every scene seems filled with urgency. The clock is ticking, resources are disappearing, and suddenly every decision matters more than ever. Then comes one of the most terrifying lines in the trailer. The building might be sold. Just think about that for a second. After everything, after every sleepless night, every fight, every sacrifice, every victory, the restaurant could simply be taken away. Not because the team gave up, not because they stopped caring, but because reality doesn't always reward effort. And that's what makes this threat feel so powerful. The characters aren't fighting against a villain. They're fighting against circumstances, against time, against economics, against fate itself. The trailer repeatedly reminds us that no matter how talented the team becomes, survival isn't guaranteed. Then another question begins to emerge. What exactly is Carmy's role this season? Because while he walks away from the restaurant, the trailer makes it clear he hasn't disappeared entirely. We see moments where he reconnects with the people around him. We hear him expressing genuine love and appreciation. And that's significant, because Carmy's biggest struggle has never been cooking. It's been relationships. Throughout the series, he chased perfection so aggressively that he often pushed away the people who cared about him most. But now, something feels different. The trailer suggests a version of Carmy that is finally beginning to understand what really matters. Not awards, not reviews, not recognition, people, family, connection. Could this be the emotional conclusion to Carmy's journey? Has he finally learned the lesson he's been avoiding since Season 1? The trailer doesn't answer that question. Instead, it leaves viewers wondering whether Carmy will ultimately return to the kitchen or continue building a life outside of it. And that uncertainty creates tremendous suspense, because no matter what happens, his decision will affect everyone. Then we get to Richie, arguably one of the most beloved characters in the entire series. Richie's transformation over the years has been remarkable. He started as chaos, as anger, as frustration, as a man stuck in the past. But slowly he evolved. He matured. He discovered purpose. And now Season 5 appears ready to test whether that growth is permanent. The trailer places Richie directly in the center of the crisis. He's trying to hold things together, trying to stay optimistic, trying to keep people moving forward. But how much pressure can one person handle before they crack? That's the question hanging over every Richie scene. And considering the cliffhanger surrounding Richie from the special episode Gary, many fans are already worried about what lies ahead. Then there's the Michelin star, the dream, the goal, the obsession, the thing everyone has been chasing for years. The trailer makes it clear that the Michelin star remains the ultimate objective. One final service, one final opportunity, one final chance to prove that all the suffering meant something. But here's where the trailer becomes especially clever. It constantly asks a dangerous question. What if they finally achieve their dream and lose everything else? Imagine earning the Michelin star at the exact moment the restaurant closes. Imagine reaching perfection only to realize perfection wasn't what you needed. That possibility hangs over the entire trailer, because The Bear has always been a show about sacrifice, and the trailer seems determined to ask whether the sacrifices were worth it. Another fascinating detail is how much emphasis is placed on teamwork. Unlike previous seasons, where Carmy often dominated the story, Season 5 feels more ensemble-driven. Everyone matters. Everyone contributes. Everyone is fighting together. And that might reveal the final message of the entire series. The trailer repeatedly hints that what makes a restaurant great isn't one genius chef. It's the people, the relationships, the trust, the family built inside the kitchen. That idea becomes even more powerful when you realize what Carmy's absence represents. For years he believed greatness came from perfection. Season 5 may prove that greatness actually comes from community, from accepting imperfection, from allowing others to help carry the burden. And if that's true, then The Bear's final season isn't about becoming the best restaurant. It's about becoming a family. As the trailer reaches its final moments, the emotional weight becomes impossible to ignore. The music grows. The tension rises. Characters stare into the distance. Difficult conversations unfold. The storm intensifies. The pressure increases. And every scene feels like a countdown towards something inevitable, something final, something emotional. Because this isn't just another season. This is goodbye, the final chapter of a story that began with grief and evolved into something much bigger. So before Season 5 premieres, these are the biggest questions the trailer leaves us with. Will Sydney successfully lead the Bear? Will Richie hold everything together? Will Carmy return? Will the flood destroy the restaurant? Will the building be sold? Will they finally earn a Michelin star? And when the final service ends, will the Bear still exist? Because if this trailer proves anything, it's that Season 5 isn't preparing viewers for a happy ending or a tragic ending. It's preparing viewers for an emotional ending. One last service, one last fight, one last chance. And by the look of this trailer, the final season may deliver the most intense, heartbreaking, and unforgettable chapter in the history of The Bear.